So today, gentlemen, today I want to discuss something. What this is, and what I want to discuss is the psychological framework for which we're operating in today, the historical context for the time period that we live in. So, everybody understands. We all learned this in elementary school. The Industrial Revolution is happening during like the 1700s and something to that degree, right? 1700s. This is called the Industrial Revolution. Then after, this is when factories are being built and things like that, right? Factories being built, mass production. This is when these things are in this infant stage. The second thing, so the second thing, right? So we start off Industrial Revolution. This is this period from the 1700s to about the 1850s, right? This is a time period marked by extreme growth, a lot of factories are being produced. People, human beings are learning how to mass produce items. Capitalism is beginning, right? 1700s, 1800s, things are getting a little bit better. 1700s, we call this Industrial Revolution. 1800s is what starts the period known as modernism, right? 1800s to 1900s starts the modernism time period, right? And so what this basically means is that now things are being placed on more of a level of knowledge, right? There's more people are getting into more professions. This is where you have the idea of going to college and getting a good paying job and retiring. This is where these ideals start to come into play. And so all of these things bring us to what we have here today with postmodernism. So right, we had modernism, that's the 1800s to the 1900s, but now today we're in postmodernism. And what this essentially is marked by is the dissolution of meta-narratives. Now, what does that mean? This means essentially that there is not one truth, to where in the Industrial Revolution, the one truth may have been God, may have been Christianity, the religion. But now, today, with postmodernism, with all of the information available, we have a million different viewpoints. There's information backing every viewpoint. So there's no one solid truth anymore. And so this is what this time period is marked by. And so this brings me to my discussion today, is to where, I want to point out a very interesting facet of postmodernism, is that, the relationship between the consumer and the brand and the business has changed. And you may ask me, like, what do you mean? So let me explain. So what I'm essentially saying is that, think about it from this perspective. You go get your car detailed, you post the dude who detail your car, you tag him. You go get a haircut, you tag the barber on your story, you post the barber, you tag the barber. You go get a tattoo, you post a tattoo, you tag the tattoo artist. All right? You go get some new shoes, you tag the brand. And to think about this, to where now the brand used to have to spend millions of dollars to market to you, right? But now the relationship has switched the relationship has switched within the minds of the consumer to the brand, to where now the brand doesn't have to do anything and the consumer promotes the brand itself, because now the consumer begins to view the brand as an extension of itself. What do I mean in layman's terms? Think about it from this perspective. Lavins, the shoe brand, does not have to promote, because Boss Man D-Lo is going to buy the shoes and make the song. You feel me? A pair of shoes, $12.50. People gonna like that. People gonna want to hear that. Now you see what I'm saying? The relationship between the brand and the consumer has flipped on its head, my friend. And I need you to be aware of this, because to understand what this means for society, what this means as a business person, we could talk about what this means as a business person. If you're a business person, this means that, fam, any business that you're starting needs to be self-marketable. That's the key. That's the key I need you to take from this. That in this postmodern society that we currently operate within, that, fam, we're looking at it from this point of view, that it doesn't matter anymore. It does not matter how much you spend on marketing. It doesn't matter, because what you need to do is craft a brand presence that makes we have to be honest, fam, they're not the smartest people in the world, these consumers. You need to make sure that the idiot consumer can post on his story your brand and that gives a message off. So right, so let's say that you have a certain type of a shoe brand. If you have a shoe brand that's a generic basic shoe brand, nobody's gonna want to post that. But say you have the most luxurious, say you have the highest of the high shoe brand, it costs $8,000 for your shoes, fam, they're going to want to post that. Do you understand what I'm saying? Right now, we're living in a society to where the brands are extensions of themselves. People use the brands to communicate for them. Think about it from this perspective, fam. People go, I was working out in a gym, a very expensive gym in Miami, in Midtown, right? And I'm looking at everybody in there. Aloe top, aloe bottoms, right? Aloe socks. And I'm looking at it because what they're doing is that they're using the brand Aloe to display something about themselves, to say that, listen, I'm in the know. Listen, this is what I do. And they're posting up. Fam, do you think they put on all that aloe and didn't get no picture? Now, maybe they don't tag aloe every single time they put the picture on, but guess what? They're posting up in the picture in their brand. So from a businessman's perspective, in the postmodern time period of the world we currently operate, the relationship between the brand and the consumer has flipped on its head. And you need to be aware of that. You need to be aware that the brands do not need to spend a single dollar on advertising because they have idiot consumers who use the brands to communicate to their peers, right? Fam, to think about it, the only reason that, and another thing of postmodernism I want to bring up is that this is marked by the object exceeding its utility, right? So think about like how we brought up Lavins earlier. This is not really Lavins, these are a pair of shoes, right? So you can get a pair of shoes or you can get some Lavins. You see what I'm saying, right? And to understand that it's because of the meaning that all of us have agreed upon that Lavins are worth $1,250, or I guess that's what they cost, right? All of us have agreed to that. So now when we see somebody with that, it's like, oh, wow, dang, you got the Lavins on, gang? Dang, I feel you. I see you, my boy. That's how it is. This is postmodernism in a nutshell. It does not matter the object. It matters the meaning we assign to it. Think about it like this. You can go get a regular pair of jeans, or you could come marry on niggas. Do you understand what I'm saying? You can get a regular pair of Wrangler jeans. Keep it cool. Or you could come marry on niggas. Do you understand what I'm saying? That there's both jeans, but we assign meaning to Micah Mary because I don't know why we assign meaning to his name, but guess what? He got some weight behind his name and people are willing to pay for that. Do you understand? So the implications for this as a consumer, wake the fuck up. That's what I tell you, my nigga. Open your eyes, right? But as a businessman, they're not going to open their eyes. So what I would tell you is to specifically craft your business to understand that the idiot consumer, fam, is going to need to purchase something to say something about themselves. And so you need to think very hard about the message you can create behind your business. Because let's say I got a notebook business. Now, I could just sell you a regular notebook. Or, fam, come on, I could sit here and tell you that, fam, you know what I'm saying? This is the notebook only used by moguls. Only moguls use these. Feel me? Even this notebook, yeah, it's just a notebook, but guess what? This notebook is $2,000. So now when you walk in the room and somebody see you with the $2,000 notebook, they're like, oh my God, $2,000 on a notebook. Wow, he must be so rich. He must be so, you see what I'm saying? Fam, as a businessman, I'm giving you the key. As a businessman, I'm telling you. As a consumer, shut the fuck up. Stop talking to me, bro. I'm done talking to you, bro.